Welcome back, everybody, to the third episode of Golden Gulch. And if you can tell, probably by the title and what we're doing on screen right now, we are making our very first roller coaster, which is this mine train coaster. And as I said in the last episode, which you guys should probably check out the ending of it at least, we would be trying to pair most of our roller coasters with some sort of water ride. This mine train coaster is going to be paired with the log flume, and the choice for that will come in later when we do some more of the theming. But in the last episode, we started this massive project with with that big brick building in the background, which is starting the two queues for these two rides. And that brick building is called Golden Co Jewels or Jewelry. I don't know which one it actually says right now, but it's basically the basic theme for these two rides, and I'll get into that a little bit later when we actually start theming the two rides, or at least getting into the deeper parts of the layout. But speaking of the two rides, we are going to have a little bit of a snippet of the two POVs, just the beginning part, what we get done, like 100% done, which is basically going to be the lift hills. But that is going to be at the end of the video, so I'll put a timestamp on right now so you guys can see that. Um, but going back to our layout, we have a kind of combo lift hill where the log flume and roller coaster are actually side by side going up, and that's going to give a good ride to ride kind of interaction. So, and there's going to be a lot of that throughout these two rides. So, the log flume is actually going to break off and go into a little scene before they meet up again, and the roller coaster is going to keep going up. And we're actually getting pretty far into this layout, but after the coaster does a couple of turns, it goes into a brake run, which is not very common for mine trains. But I put this brake run here um, because the scene that's going to be in, it's going to be another interaction spot. There's going to be the big jewel room or gemstone room. So it's basically going to be where the log flume goes around the outer, like the perimeter of the room, and then the roller coaster just kind of breaks in there, and you can just kind of look around. So we won't be finishing in that in this episode. That will be finished in the next episode, where we are going to be doing most of the theming for these two rides. This is going to be mostly the layout, the terrain, and then the beginning theming to it. So this is what we have done so far. We're actually coming into the ending breaks right now for the mine train coaster after it snakes its way back to our station. And then we are going to be finishing up the layout for the log flume after we finish doing the minor smoothing for this ride. I didn't do too much of it because I know that these rides aren't really the smoothest. Then again, they don't really go super fast, so you can really feel the really crazy whips. But I did kind of go for like a Thunder Mountain feel for the exterior, which is going to be most of the roller coaster, where it kind of snakes its way through all of the terrain. But here we are going back to our log flume coaster, or not coaster, just the log flume, and we're going to finish the layout here. And this is actually going to be the big drop where it turns around and goes through the middle of the roller coaster track and through the middle of our or the bottom of our scene. And it's going to go out, kind of sparking a little river, which is going to spark way more episodes to come. That river is going to be kind of intertwining all of the areas in the park. But I actually screwed up the ending to this log flume. As you can see right now, the log flume station is elevated. And the reason for that is the terrain is going to be kind of holding it up. It's going to be kind of like a side of a mountain, kind of cliffside station. But that caused the track to actually have to go up and then into the station. And the problem with that is that the log flume ride mechanics will not allow the track to go on a lift hill. So if it does go on a lift hill, then it will not be allowed to put as many logs as it would be able to in regular time. So That kind of sucks, and here I'm just trying to give it some more extra room, but that's as much as I can fit, and I think I got like 13 logs on there, which is not that many compared to the length of the ride, but I really don't know how many I will need until until the park is actually open and running with a good amount of people in here. Although I'm pretty sure that log flumes are a pretty popular ride. Hopefully the operations won't be too bad. But here we are, we're done with both layouts, so now we're going into some basic terrain work just around the entrance so we can start our beginning scenery. And this scenery is actually going to be the lift hill, and I made this part out of basic arc shapes and logs or driftwood, I think it is. But we're just gonna kind of give it like a mine shaft type feel to it. So kind of brown, orange, kind of matching the terrain with the color, and then it's just gonna go all the way up the lift hill, and then we're gonna put in these kind of pillory driftwood, which is gonna take a good amount of time to do. And right here actually gave me a good amount of trouble, which is this little breakaway. I didn't know exactly how I wanted to do it. I kind of wanted to have it so to where there was a kind of fallen minecart that had made the log flume have to bypass and go somewhere else into a different scene. But that is basically what is to come with this. So while we are working on this immensely detailed and a lot of piece uh, mineshaft lift, I will leave you guys with some Western music. Well, not really Western music, but just kind of some mineshaft music, some mining music. can probably see that this is taking such a long time to build. We're just finishing it up right now. The piece count is tremendous for this building, and I'm still working on it. Basically, what happens is when I copy and paste something, it copies and it usually stays selected, but then my mouse isn't clicking right, which is an ongoing problem that I'm having. So I'm gonna have to get my a new mouse or something. But it just kind of deselects them, and then I have to reselect them all over again. And that's why it really took a long time. You probably saw that a couple of times before. But now we're moving on to some more different things instead of just copying and pasting a bunch of wood and plastering them together. We are going to be working on some more detailing, which the first thing I did was copied the bottom flooring panels, I guess you would call them, and I just brought them up to make the roof. And you just saw me do some more fine detailing with it, where the driftwood, the lighter colored wood, was actually sticking up through the roof. So I had to lower that, and then have to adjust it to fit the kind of flow of the track. So now we are moving on to some lighting, and this again was some more copying and pasting. I didn't want to make my life too miserable placing each one by hand, so we're gonna do this, and then I actually have to go back and make sure they're all connected to the beams, which mainly happens when I do the skinnier part just for the mine train, and you'll see that in just 1 second when I place these. Um, but then after that, we are gonna test it. It's gonna be in the fast speed. In a couple minutes time, you'll actually get the real time POV of what we've done, which is just this lift hill, and that would be it. It is gonna be for both rides though, so that is just a little bit of an added POV bonus. So after this, we are gonna be going in and doing some terrain work, and that is going to lead into our next episode, which is going to be the finishing of the theming. And in that one, we're actually going to get a lot more done, and there's going to be a lot of variety work. So if this one was a little bit boring, I can understand that, since we were basically working on the same thing the whole episode. But the next episode, we're going to be working on the first scene for the log flume, the big scene, the gem room, and the splashdown, and then we're gonna have some more exterior theming for the mine train ride. But now we are doing some terrain work, and the way I do terrain work is a little bit different than most people do. I actually cover everything that I'm building over, and then whatever needs to be like open so people won't get hurt. I just kind of go through and I excavate all the dirt out. So this is me just kind of making a path for the track. And the only problem with this method, although I think it happens with any other method, is that the terrain comes through the walls. And then I just have to take a really small brush and get it out, kind of fine detailing. But that is basically it. I did have a big cut because I was working on terrain for a little while and then I stopped and took a break. But here I am doing our little mine cart thing that's going to break the log flume away from the other lift hill, which is this kind of train. I was originally going with the steam train, and it was so big. So I went with this, I think it's a timber car. I don't know the name for sure. And then I kind of made that buffer kind of broken, just kind of giving it an extra fear factor. But I wish I could have had these kind of rush down and kind of slam into it, but there was no animation piece to do that. So then after that, we're just gonna do a little bit more theming to this area, getting the next scene ready for what we're gonna be doing, and that will be our first objective in the next episode. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode, or at least watched it to get the layouts done. I know the lift hill wasn't the most exciting thing to watch. Um, it's actually kind of hard to commentate over that as well. But I will actually be fixing a little bit of the lift hill, I think in the next episode or off camera. But here's me just testing it one more time. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Make sure to stick around for those little snippets of POVs Thanks for watching, and make sure to have a great day.